Good evening, Tuesday. It's CRL time. So, a little bit of a hiccup tonight, you can see there. My right shifter ended up busting. So I was with two gears tonight, the big gear and the small gear, which made it quite fun. For this course called the Danger Noodle, you head out to the S's, turn back around, and then through Titans Grove reverse. Now we're at the desert turnaround, back to Titans Grove normal, forward direction, back towards Watopia Pier finish. So I've been racing on what's essentially 100% trainer difficulty and gears for I don't know how long. I've gotten quite used to it. I've had the same 10 speed setup since I've been Zwift racing, and I've got it dialed in. Last week I felt something go clickety clack at one point, kind of ignored it. Was going to look into it, but fell violently ill after last week's race on Wednesday night. Spent a few days with a GI bug, lost a bunch of weight, and really only started feeling better on Sunday and Monday. And today felt okay. Did not ride into work today because there's basically no room for bikes. If you are aware of what's going on in Toronto, we got a bunch of snow over the weekend. All that to say, I did not check my bike, and I got on my bike to warm up, and click, the shifter popped off. Yep, right there. And so I kind of freaked out a bit and tried to get my other bike on the trainer, and I was so frazzled I didn't really bother looking for the right adapters because it's a disc brake bike, and my trainer bike is a rim brake with a quick release. And lo and behold, my stuff was right where it should have been. You have to trust your OCD to know exactly where your stuff should be, and it will be there. But I did not, and freaked out a bit. And so you can see me doing some funny stuff tonight that I'm normally not used to. So things like getting out of the saddle a lot and grinding a lot, but then also spinning much higher than I'm used to indoors. And then ending up on the front and being like, okay, well, I guess I'll go. So here we are on the back end of the S's, and I figured, yeah, I'm going uphill. I can generate power going uphill, not a problem. Generating power going downhill is tough. I'm basically kind of spinning out at this point. I'm doing almost 100 RPM, and I can really only put down 200 watts, which is not ideal in Zwift. So I did a lot of yo-yoing to the front, to the back, to the front, to the back. So needless to say, this course didn't really suit me that well. I kind of wish it was a more climby course, because I think then at least I could have fallen into a rhythm, and if there is a long climb or something like that, drop it into the small gear, small chainring, and just fall into a rhythm. But alas, that wasn't the case. So we are just coming out of the piers. We're going to hang left here, and we're going to hit the Titans Grove Forest shortly. Everyone's complaining about this little drag. We always get done on TTTs at this place. If you have the desert finish, it's like 1-2%, 1-2%, and it just drags on forever. And it's very painful. We're going to take a right into the forest coming up. And I mean, at this point, I was feeling okay. I was annoyed with what I had to contend with in terms of going downhill. I was spinning out. Going uphill, I was grinding. It's just not my natural way. I try to ride like I would outdoors. I know a lot of people on Zwift just grind it out at like 50 or 60 RPM, but that's not how I like to ride, either indoors or outdoors. So the sort of lumpy lead into the Titans Grove reverse KOM has me kind of ballooning to the front and then falling to the back and sprinting to the front, falling to the back. I'm trying to pace my effort here, but it's very difficult to stay consistent without any gears. You can see my RPM on the top left there. I'm really working hard to stay in the pack, which is, not the point of staying in the pack. You're supposed to not work hard. A couple times I went off the front just to try to spread things out and thin out the pack. We're, I think, sitting at around 58, 59, 60 people still at this point. It was a large pack for most of the night. And we're heading into the last little kind of climb before the KOM reverse here, and a bit of a downhill. They had all these sort of, they call them secret feathers, but because we race at night, it wasn't much of a secret because we all knew about them. So there's a lot of power-ups tonight that seemed a bit excessive, but hey, whatever. Here we are going downhill. There's a lot of chatter among the team to figure out who was using what power-up where. Here we are coming up to the KOM reverse. Just about after this right-hand turn. It wasn't particularly spicy. I don't think it felt, overly difficult, other than the fact that you can see me there. I'm out of the saddle the whole time, and I'm just not used to that. I am used to, varying my cadence and really changing it up to make sure that I can stay fresh, use the different systems, and be able to, get the recovery when I need. So, it was 137, which isn't too bad when you think about it. I think my PR is something like 119 or 120. And that was a full out effort. So I'd say pretty decent effort, but nothing that's going to really get rid of a lot of people. It looks like we're down to 45 or so at this point. I was a little worried on the descent, I'll be honest. I'm spinning at 95, 98, 99 RPM, and I'm producing 140 watts. It's a little uncomfortable. I don't know if you've ever tried it, but it's not the most comfortable thing to sit there at super high cadence and not really going anywhere with it. So I was happy when the downhills sort of stopped so that I can get a bit of a rest. But then as soon as it pitches upwards, I have to grind it out and, use my my leg strength and my muscles to get up the hill. So it was these rollers here. You can see the little mini map at the top, just going up and down, up and down, up and down. It's exhausting in a way that is different than just kind of a regular effort. So you see me standing in the saddle there just to change it up a bit. But yeah, standing in the saddle and doing 85 or 90 RPM is also quite uncomfortable. So we're going to come down Titans Grove and then hit the desert turnaround and then come back up Titans Grove and kind of repeat in reverse. So there's another power up coming after the roundabout, another feather. And you'll see the pack's still quite large, 46 people. There wasn't much differentiating. There wasn't much of a, I think, split tonight, just because it was too lumpy for a real kind of small breakaway to make it out. We were, marking the guys who could potentially break away, like plat from OTR, just to make sure that they weren't gonna take off on us. So this is the little climb outside of the desert leading into Titan's Grove. And this is basically kind of climbing until we hit the backside of Titan's Grove. So pretty steady effort here. I didn't mind it. I don't really like standing. I know there's a lot of people who do. It's not my jam. I didn't end up dropping into the small chainring at all, just because my cadence was still quite high, and I was afraid that I would spin out. So even, you know, in my lowest cadence, I was in the 70s, and if I drop into the small chainring there, that would have pumped me up quite a bit, and I was a little bit afraid of that would work against me. So I stayed in the big ring for the entire race. So we're gonna come up to the Titan's Grove KOM marker on the right hand turn here and start the official climb. Now, because of the way the secret feathers came out, there is gonna be another feather deployed kind of halfway up the KOM climb, and there was some question as to where exactly that was going to be. It was 24 kilometers, and I got a little antsy, and I did mine a little early, I think. I think I could have held on to it a little bit longer because I'm only using it in the low 2%. We're going to get the feather there. This is where the pack gets a little spicy and we start splitting. Now, normally I would have just kept a decent cadence here, low 80s, to, you know, generate some power. You can see me standing out of the saddle and kind of spitting. It is low 80s, but it feels much more of an effort to keep up with these guys right now, because I think at this point I would have normally dropped my cadence and got out of the saddle and kind of grinded in the 70s, but I was stuck kind of spinning high to try to generate my power, and I managed to do a pretty decent job, all things considered, but it felt taxing, more so than normal. So 4:14, not a bad time. Not the best, but not a bad time. Now, we got an anvil power up on the downhill, and I figured, you know what? I'm going to try to hold on to this, despite the fact that downhills are a bit of my nemesis at the moment. I was only going to use it in an emergency and see if I can hold it till the finish, because I knew there was a slight downhill finish, and if I could weigh a little more on the downhill finish, it could sort of help me. So I did not use my anvil. You saw a bunch of guys did. I didn't think that was a proper usage of it. It was a bit of a waste, I think. And you know, things are getting a bit spicy here. I'm trying to keep up the downhill again. More of an effort than it ought to be. And the front of the pack is starting to press. We got one guy off the front, and it's Platt from OTR. As expected, went and tried to make a move, and he did well. I think he's a bigger guy and was able to hold us off for a while, and then people started bridging up, and you can see it right there. A couple of efforts really increased the pace of the group, and we all kind of dragged up towards him, you know, heading into the finish. 2.5 clicks to go, and I'm feeling okay, but I know that I'm pretty limited in my ability to sprint at this point, and so I know at this point in the race that I'm pretty much gonna just settle for what I get. I'm not gonna be able to compete for or contest a sprint in any way because of the fact that I'll spin out. So coming into the finish here, over the bridge. Now, people use their anvils here, which is great, because what it did is it dragged us back to Platt without really needing to put super effort into it. And here I go trying to create some sort of speed with 700 meters to go. You can see me kind of getting in position. I dropped my anvil there, and then I'm spinning hard trying to generate power. And I think I mustered something like 700 watts at 125 RPM. Managed to grab 11th, which I guess, all in all, isn't bad. So that's the shakeout on Zwift Power. You can see me there, 11th place. Managed a 3.8 20 minute, 4.5 5 minute, and that's the WTRL site. You see Anthem took it on the night. We managed a second place, a very strong team finish, and there's the final standings. Dirty Rascals Grit finishes second overall, a point behind on the Rivet TWSS. And wanted to show you my intervals chart again. You can see the high spin towards the end there, where I'm, spinning at 125 RPM. Power is, looking pretty decent, but just can't really do much other than generate, 18 seconds at 641 watts is not my typical finish in a race, but you just gotta play the cards you're dealt. I hope you enjoyed the season of ZRL. I'll probably be doing some more random races and some herd races as well if I can stay on top of it. DRS, Dirt Racing Series, starts next week, so that's a new format that we'll be doing, and I think that will be on Wednesday, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.